We also have Staff Sergeant Luke Sifka and Staff Sergeant Kevin Fleich, both wounded warriors. And gentlemen, I want to say thanks very much for joining us, and you honor us also with your presence. Hua. Okay, so for all the general officers that are here in attendance, I want to say welcome, all the senior commanders, fellow sergeants major. I know we have a number of retired soldiers, senior non-commissioned officers and officers that are present, and veterans. And for all the retired soldiers out there and our veterans, I want to say thanks for your service. And for those, all of us that are in uniform, you know, we stand on your shoulders. And it's your characterization of service and your contributions while you served that has made our Army the greatest Army in the world. So for all of our retired soldiers, veterans that are here, big round of applause. We have a few family members scattered here, obviously throughout the audience. And I want to say thanks to the families that are here. And you know, we've always said that you know, the Army is the strength of our nation because it's the largest of the services. And of course, internally, it's soldiers that are the strength of the Army, but it's our families that are the strength of our soldiers. So for all of our family members, big round of applause. And then last but not least is all the friends and the sponsors of the Army. And we have a lot of sponsors here, and I will tell you that you know, this venue and all that we do, not only here at the annual meeting, but around the Army would not be possible for you know, the outpouring of support from the many sponsors that are out there. And I'd like to recognize all of them with a big round of applause. Okay, and now I would ask Sergeant Major Ralph Martinez from the Office of the Chief of Chaplains to come forward with the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, I come before you with praise and thanksgiving for this occasion for which we have gathered. As we celebrate and recognize the accomplishment of these NCOs and soldiers, we take time to thank you for their gifts of selfless service and commitment to high standards. They embody all the best of our soldiers. We recognize the honor of serving, and we acknowledge the responsibility of leading. Help each of us to demonstrate the Army values and empower us to do our best to live in accordance to our tenet of our professed faith. I ask that you look after the families of our fallen soldiers and help us to never forget their sacrifice. Remain with our soldiers who are in harm's way and their families who await their return. Be their source of strength. As we gather around tables laden with food, family, and friends, may we be so mindful that there are others somewhere that are not as fortunate as we are. Empower us, O God, to give us as you give, and to share as you share, to joy and hope as those who have sadness and despair, to give food and drink to those who hunger and thirst, and to give justice and mercy to those who cry for both. Bless this food that we're about to receive to the nourishment of our bodies. Thank you for life, health, and strength, and for providing all that we need for a righteous living. Most of all, wherever we go, prepare the way, provide peace, and maintain your faithfulness towards us. In your holy name I pray, amen.
Okay, at this time now we have, just before we start our lunch, I want to draw your attention to the screens, and we've got about a 2-minute video of this year's 2017 Best Warrior Competition. Ahua. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your lunch. Lunch is served.
We're going to close our program by featuring one of our basses, and he's going to sing for you a song by singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood. It's a song that's become the unofficial anthem of the Gulf Wars. Today, Sergeant First Class Casey Armstrong will close our program with God Bless the USA.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. To the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart. It's time we stand and say, that I'm proud to be an American, but at least I know I'm free. Stand up next to you and defend her still.
Thank you, United States Army Chorus. You're an inspiration to us all. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for the chorus. Okay, at this time, it's my honor to introduce someone who needs no introduction, but our Sergeant Major of the Army, Dan Dailey.
All right, well, good afternoon. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Good? Are y'all ready to find out who won the best warrior competition? Well, you're going to have to wait because we're not doing that yet. Okay, but I will tell you that it is wonderful to see everybody here. Sergeant Major of the Army Preston did such a fabulous job recognizing all the distinguished guests and visitors and the family and friends of the competitors and of the honorees that we are about to recognize for the rest of the ceremony. I just want to say again, thank you to General McConville, sir. It's an absolute privilege to have you here with us today. And General Ham, our president of AUSA, without you, sir, and your entire team here at AUSA, none of this would be possible. Let's give them a big round of applause. So before we get into the best warrior competition, I have the distinct honor and privilege of announcing this year's honorary Sergeant Major of the Army. 3 years ago, I conferred with the previous Sergeant Majors of the Army, which I am told that I have to do by my predecessors. And where's Jack Tilley, right? That's right. And I said, I'd like to come up with an award that recognizes the lifelong service and sacrifice to soldiers and their families. That's the only requirement, just one, lifelong service and sacrifice to soldiers and families. So we agreed that we would do it annually, pick one person, and that award would be only nominated and selected by the current and the former Sergeants Major of the Army in a majority vote. This is the third year, ladies and gentlemen, that we are presenting the award of Honorary Sergeant Major of the Army. And I am pleased to announce that I think we've done an absolute fabulous job again as the Sergeant Major of the Army and previous SMAs, and I'm sure they would agree, of picking the absolute right person. And before I announce that individual and bring them up the stage and recognize them, I would just tell you that he is a native of Phillipsburg, New Jersey. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Infantry in 1944. He is a veteran of World War II, a two-time veteran of Vietnam and the Korean War, as well as the Cold War. He is a two-time division commander with the 23rd Infantry Division and the 82nd Airborne Division. He has served in a number of leadership positions up to include the Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army. He has many distinguished awards to include the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, the Silver Star, a Legion of Merit, Distinguished Flying Cross, and multiple Bronze Stars with V devices. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please take a moment and join me in this short presentation of this year's honoree.
The role of Sergeant Major of the Army was established in 1966. There have been a few service members selected as honorary Sergeants Major of the Army, and this year the honor is presented to retired General Frederick James Crozan. General Crozan gave me a brief rundown of his time in the Army, starting off with why he originally joined.
Well, that's an easy thing to answer is World War II. That's what I knew I was going to be in the Army. But I grew up right next door to New Jersey National Guard. My father was a National Guard officer, battery commander, and so I got to know a lot about the Army.
With his father as an example, General Crozan decided to follow in his steps as an officer.
I was pretty much attracted to the Army, and when I went to Rutgers University, I had 2 years of ROTC. I applied to go for the advanced course in ROTC, and I was accepted. And that's when I joined the Army formally. I was commissioned as an infantryman and spent 41 years in the Army, always considering myself an infantryman. And I had a great life.
With over 4 decades of experience, General Croson experienced his ups and downs. He doesn't regret being part of some of the most critical moments in history.
It was a very enjoyable life, except for those occasions when you're in combat and you lose troops, you lose friends, you suffer lots of fears, and you wonder why you're the one who escaped when so many didn't. Some people question your mental capacities if you serve in the infantry for 3 wars. That's not the smartest thing to do.
It's easy to see why General Croson was selected for the prestigious honor this year.
Well, of course, I'm quite surprised in the first place, but I'm completely honored by the selection. I think of all the things that happened to me in my career, this is one of the greatest rewards I've achieved.
General Croson left me with a special message for the soldiers of today.
They're engaged in an honorable profession, one that this nation has needed throughout its history, and I wish them all success in the continuation of what the Army has been for over 200 years already. I guess I would go back and do it all over if I had the opportunity, and I'd just try to do it better.
If I could have the former Sergeant Major of the Army, the Vice Chief Staff, and General Ham, retired, and AUSA President, please join me on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to recognize this year's recipient of the Honorary Sergeant Major of the Army Award goes to General Frederick J. Croson, United States Army, retired. Because we all know the Sergeant Major of the Army is like 3 steps higher than a 4-star, so we actually have to make that.
By the way, sir, congratulations.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly an opportunity for me to come up here and say thank you for the honor just bestowed upon me. It came as a great surprise, complete surprise, when I was notified by the current Sergeant Major of the Army that I was to be selected this year. before I finish saying thanks, I want to tell a little story about the fact that I'm pretty well associated with the non-commissioned officers of the Army ever since I was 12 years old. One of my mentors, besides my father and a couple of my uncles, was a sergeant who was the stable sergeant and horse trainer of the 112th Field Artillery, New Jersey National Guard. And I was fortunate enough for him to sort of hire me as an exercise boy, which I did for all of my teenage years. And he got me the first paycheck I ever earned when the state of New Jersey paid me $10 a month for my summers out of school to be the assistant to the horse trainer. And I treasured that $10 for the rest of my life as having earned something for what I love to do. I then had another mentor. Oh, that guy's name was I know his name as well as mine. Bill Lawton was his name. Then my second connection with a kind of NCO mentor was when I went through basic training, and a man named Bradshaw was my platoon sergeant that got our whole platoon through a pretty tough basic training in 1942. Then when I became a corporal, I was allowed to go to OCS, and I had a great time there with a lot of good non-commissioned officers who knew the details of how to be an infantryman, and I was most appreciative of their duties in getting us to be acceptable as second lieutenants. When I joined my first unit, platoon leader in the 63rd Infantry Division, which was being prepared to go to Europe for the rest of the war, I suddenly, a couple months later, found myself the only officer alive in the company. We lost all other lieutenants. Our company commander was promoted and taken away to another job, and I was alone with 4 platoon sergeants whom I've never forgotten. Their names were Dailey, Leeslick, Speranza, and Whitley. And I knew from the start that I didn't have much worries about the employment of those platoons because I had great confidence in all 4 of them. But there were 3 other guys, First Sergeant named Jones, the 5 Sergeant named Potasnik, and the Mess Sergeant named Anderson. And they taught me an awful lot about my responsibilities as a company commander. Now, I tell you that story because I want you all to realize that non-commissioned officers have a tremendous responsibility for training second lieutenants in the United States Army. It's a responsibility you can't shirk, and if you don't do it right, you don't get the right kind of leadership from the officer corps. I spent the rest of my Army career completely understanding and being respectful of the non-commissioned officer corps. I tried to support NCOs in the informal kind of education that many commanders tried to give in the NCO academies, in the Sergeant Morales Club, which I hope is still around. And certainly then I was one of the great supporters of the NCOES program, non-commissioned officer education system which after 200 years of forcing NCOs to learn on the job, learn through experience, we finally came up with a set of standards and a set of requirements and a set of how to do things for the entire NCO Corps. And I believe that it was a key factor in preparing the professionalism of the United States Army that fought that first Persian Gulf War, an army that won in 100 hours. And there are lessons about that preparation and about that capability that is important today, and somebody ought to be looking into how we did it and how you did it during those years. Now, I said I was going to say thank you. I'm most indebted to the Sergeant Major of the Army. I'm most indebted to Sergeant Major Ken Preston, who's been our host today. I'm also very much indebted to AUSA and General Carter Ham, who is here. I've been a member. I'm still wearing my membership badge to get in here instead of those other paper badges that the rest of you have to have. And I want to tell all non-commissioned officers here and all the career officers here, you need to support your professional organization, because it is the total membership of the career soldiers who impress the members of Congress in the value and the need for the professional organization that we have. Now, you have to allow me one more minute here. Sitting at the table with me is a young lady who married me when I was a corporal. And my 41 years in the Army was also part of her 41 years, most of them. She didn't miss more than one, the first one, I think. And I would like her to be recognized as wife of the Sergeant Major of the Army. We've only been married 73 years, my first wife, and I hope we'll have a few more. And I thank you all for allowing me to stand here and talk for these last few minutes. Once again, I am most honored to have been selected for this position, and I won't forget it for the rest of my life. Thank you.
General Crozen, thank you. You have paved the way for us. You have set standards for us. And today you still inspire us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him one more big round of applause. Well, the next job is quite easy because I get to introduce a great man. And before I bring him up here, just a little story about the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army and his position. As the Sergeant Major of the Army, you work directly for the Chief of Staff of the Army and the Secretary of the Army, but you also have another boss. He's called the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. And I always say that the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army is the busiest job in the Army because he's got a lot of things to do behind the scenes, working budget, modernization, and every single thing the Chief of Staff of the Army doesn't want to do. That's right. So it is my absolute distinct privilege and honor to introduce our guest speaker this year, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, Lieutenant General, General McConville.
Well, good afternoon. And if you only remember one thing I say today, we have the world's greatest Army because we have the world's greatest non-commissioned officers and the world's greatest soldiers. So how about giving them a hand? And it starts right at the top with the Sergeant Major of the Army, Dailey, and you all know who he is, but I get to see him behind the scenes. I get to see what he does every single day, representing you with the senior leadership of the Army, with Congress, with just about everyone you see, and he is absolutely wonderful. He provides candid feedback, direct advice, and not only does he tell it the way it is, he actually gets these things done. And so, how about a hand for the Sergeant Major of the Army? Also want to recognize former Sergeant Majors of the Army that's here. We have 3, and again, they have inspired all of us with their leadership and dedication. And I'd like to recognize General Croson. Sir, I'm just humbled. First of all, your picture's on my wall. I get to see you every single day, but I'm just humbled to be there and what you've done for this country and what you continue to do. I'm just humbled to be in your presence. So how about a hand for General Croson? You know, we recognized the recruiters of the year and the career council of the year. And I want to give you a special thanks. I just want you to know who I am. I'm the person that gave you this incredible mission this year so we could grow the Army. 28,000 soldiers in 1 year, and we said you could not reduce the standards, and we didn't give you much time to do it. And all you NCOs out here are what made it happen. It was very critical because a lot of folks said we could not grow the Army by 28,000 in 1 year, and you did it. So how about a hand for each and every one of you? Yeah, I just want to mention 2 Sergeant Majors that I had the privilege of serving. One is, some of you may know him, Command Sergeant Major Scott Schroeder. Anyone know Command Sergeant Major Schroeder? Incredible non-commissioned officer. I met with him on the first day that I changed command. I came in there, and then, like any good leader, you meet with a Sergeant Major, and the first thing he asked me, he goes, sir, he goes, do we train soldiers what to think or how to think? Think about that for a second. And so I thought about it for a second, and what I did, which was any smart officer would do, I said, Sergeant Major, what do you think? And when he told me, he goes, sir, we train soldiers what to think. And he goes, and the reason is if we don't train soldiers what to think, then we can't train them how to think. We need to train them how to move, shoot, communicate. We need to make them masters of their job first. We need to make sure they understand Army values. We need to make sure they understand the Army, and then we can get to the higher level strategies that we all want to get to. And that struck me. And he was the epitome of what every NCO should be. And one other Sergeant Major was Sergeant Major, you know Alonzo Smith? Command Sergeant Major Alonzo Smith. You know about him. Another incredible NCO that I had the chance to serve with. Combat wounded with the 502nd in Kandahar. Fought his way back, recovered. And if you ever have a chance, you can walk up to him, ask him to see his leg. Okay? Or take a look in shorts. And his calf is missing, it has a softball-sized divot in it from where an 82mm recoilless rifle hit him. And he came back, and when he was standing in front of the 101st Airborne Division and making those runs, every soldier knew that he led from the front. He was an incredible, inspirational leader. And that's the type of NCOs we want. That's the type of NCOs we need. And so I know we want to get on, and we want to go ahead, and what I'd like to do is recognize the winners of the Best Warrior competition. Except Sergeant Major won't tell me who they are. But here's what I do know. I don't know who they are, but I know what they are. I know they're incredible NCOs. I know they're incredible soldiers. They're highly trained. They're extremely well disciplined. They set the example when they're doing PT, physically fit. They develop cohesive teams where everyone treats everyone in dignity and respect, and they're the best of the best. And so I'm going to end with one quick story because I know we want to get on to this. But there's something special about being a soldier. Something special. We see that with General Croson. And I had a chance to meet this very special soldier during the 70th anniversary of D-Day. His name was Jim Pee Wee Martin. Jim Pee Wee Martin served with the 506 Infantry, Band of Brothers with 101st during World War II. And he was 23 years old when he jumped in during D-Day. Fought across Europe, made it back, came back home. And on the 70th day, the 70th anniversary of D-Day, he decided to jump in again at 93 years of age. Think about that. 93 years of age, he jumped back again. And he told me I spent some time with him, and we got a chance to go to a lot of different events. And he told me three things. He said he still liked to jump, which made sense. He told me if we needed any more soldiers, he was still ready to go. And I said, hey, Jim, you've done your duty. I don't think we need you still. And he finally said he didn't like generals that gave long speeches. So I'm going to end it right there, and we'll get on and go ahead and recognize the Warriors of the Year. Thank you very much, and keep all those serving in harm's way in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you very much.
Okay, so everybody's ready for find out who the NCO and Soldier of the Year is, right? Okay, well, I don't know. The SMA wouldn't tell me. And of course, honestly, I don't think the SMA knows. When you look out there, I think there's only one person in the whole world right now that knows who the non-commissioned officer and Soldier of the Year is, and that's the executive officer for the Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Major Don Rose. Sergeant Major?
All right, just so I wouldn't pull that Paul Harvey thing, they put the names on there so I get this right. So without further ado, we're going to do the soldiers first, and then we're going to follow with the non-commissioned officers. We're going to do the third place, second place, first place. All right, so for your third place, Soldier of the Year, PFC Lovell from USASOC. We couldn't rehearse this because then they would know, right? So patient with us. Okay, for your second place winner and the first runner-up, Specialist Reimers from the Army National Guard. All right, out of the envelope. And your 2017 Soldier of the Year, Specialist Ham from USAPAC.
right, let's get another round of applause for our Soldier of the Year.
Okay, now to the NCOs. Your third place winner for the NCO of the Year, Sergeant First Class Garcia from USERPAC. Okay, our second place winner and first runner-up for NCO of the Year, Sergeant First Class Shannon from FORSCOM. All right, for the 2017 NCO of the Year, pull it out of here, Staff Sergeant Ryan from TRADOC. Ryan McCarthy, I'm sorry, Ryan McCarthy. I put it backwards.
Now, his name is Ryan McCarthy. He is absolutely no relation to the Secretary of the Army, Ryan McCarthy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Soldier and Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. Let's give him another big round of applause.
Hey, how about one more round of applause for our contestants? Okay, so for all of our distinguished guests, again, I just want to say thank you for joining us here today. A special thanks to our sponsors, and you'll find on the table the tent cards on each of the table, the list of sponsors that are there. And again, I mean, we would not be able to do all the things we do to support non-commissioned officers and soldiers and their families without our sponsors. So please, one more round of applause for our sponsors. You also find on your table there are notebooks, courtesy of Pioneer Services, Chief Master Sergeant Alan Ursery. Alan, thanks very much for passing those out. And also on the back table when you leave, you'll find copies of the 2018 Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier Calendar, and really focused on soldiers of excellence, and those are free to take with you. And again, congratulations to our Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier of the Year. And I'd ask for the Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier of the Year, the competitors, to come up and kind of line up here in front of the stage so that we can ask the Army leadership, and I would invite all the leadership from all the commands to come through and can come up and congratulate all 6 of these great non-commissioned officers and soldiers. As a reminder, I will tell you that this morning we did the battle challenge downstairs, and the battle challenge will continue for the next 3 days. And I will tell you that the best warriors in that competition right now, the fastest time going through was 1 minute and 36 seconds. Okay, and I challenge the rest of you out there to come on down, bring your PT gear down. There's changing rooms down there, and go through and compete in the battle challenge. Also, if you haven't downloaded the AUSA app, I would encourage you to do that. The app will give you the opportunity to really know and understand all the things that are going on here in the convention center, and it will allow you to build your own personal itinerary so you make sure you don't miss anything. So with that, I'd invite the Army leadership up, give everybody here a congratulations, and for everybody else in the audience to follow. This concludes our lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day.